Good evening, everyone. Mike Pharma from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another huge video update tonight. We have got a ton of articles to get through, so let's get straight into it. Now, basically, the news of this week is pretty much all COVID and COVID jab related. I've got a mix of stories from Australia and all around the world, and as we said on Tuesday night's radio show, something is clearly brewing. So let's start off in the US, where just last week, the Trump administration cancelled a $766 million jab trial with Moderna. So here's the article if anybody wants to look it up. Trump administration cancels $766 million Moderna contract to fight pandemic flu. Trump administration has cancelled $766 million awarded to drug maker Moderna Inc. to help to develop a vaccine against potential pandemic influenza viruses, including the H5N1 bird flu. The company said it was notified Wednesday that the Health and Human Services Department had withdrawn funds awarded in July 2024 and in January to pay for development and purchase of its investigational vaccine. What exactly is an investigational vaccine? Is that one where they jab you and then watch you and see what happens afterwards? Sounds familiar. The funds were awarded through the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, or BARDA, a program that focuses on medical treatments for potential pandemics. The new vaccine, called mRNA 1018, they're similar numbers to something else that I read out recently. We'll come back to that. Used the same technology that allowed development and rollout of vaccines to fight COVID-19 in record time. Yes, we all remember that we're raced to market all magically at the same time without all of the long-term testing and trialling that is supposed to happen when vaccines go to market. And of course, now we're starting to see the truth about what those results are actually showing. So this, of course, was just the beginning of the bad news for the drug companies, because then RFK Jr. came out and completely blindsided the CDC and ended the recommendation of COVID jabs for, shock horror, get this, healthy children and pregnant healthy women. I mean, what a wild and crazy idea. I mean, what is this guy thinking? Okay. Again, here's the article for those that haven't seen it. RFK Jr. ends coronavirus shot recommendation for healthy children and pregnant women. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said Tuesday that his agency would no longer recommend the coronavirus vaccine for healthy pregnant women and healthy children. An unprecedented move that bypasses the traditional system of vaccine advice from the Centre of Disease Control and Prevention. In a 58-second video posted on X, Kennedy said the vaccine had been removed from the CDC's immunisation schedule for those two groups of people. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunisation schedule, Kennedy said. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children. The move reflects ongoing tension between Kennedy's health department and public health experts who have expressed deep concern that the nation's health chief and his top deputies are undermining public confidence in vaccinations. I think the drug companies did that all on their own over the past few years. Just saying. It also shows the extent to which Kennedy, founder of a prominent anti-vaccine group, is willing to circumvent career officials and traditional practices at the nation's health agencies. I think career officials is an important point because they don't do anything other than spend their whole career just pushing papers and making these announcements without actual any information. And this, of course, is the problem that we're dealing with. So, as a result of that, now the drug companies stand to lose even more money. But wait, okay, there's even more knives straight in the back of those who choose to put profits over safety, because RFK Jr. then went to Argentina and their president confirmed their withdrawal from the WHO madness as well. So, another article that I urge you to have a look at. This is what we need to do here in Australia. Argentina ratifies decision to withdraw from WHO as RFK Jr visits Buenos Aires. Now just listen to this article and see if there might be some similarities between what's going on in Argentina and what we could make happen here in Australia. Argentina has ratified its decision to withdraw from the World Health Organization during a visit to Buenos Aires by US Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The decision to pull out of the WHO was initially announced in February by Argentina's President Javier Milei, following in the footsteps of his US counterpart Donald Trump, who said in January the United States would withdraw. Milei's government justified its departure from the UN agency in a statement made on Monday. The WHO's prescriptions do not work because they are not based on science, but on political interests and bureaucratic structures that refuse to review their own mistakes. Exactly. Buenos Aires has previously accused the agency of disastrous management during the COVID pandemic with its caveman quarantine. The announcement came as Kennedy and the Argentinian health minister, Mario Lugones, met to define a joint work agenda that will strengthen transparency and trust in the health system. What a brilliant idea. Together with Robert Kennedy, we believe in the future of collaboration in global health. We have similar visions about the path forward, Lugones said. Kennedy, a controversial Trump pick for health secretary, given his vaccine skepticism, is also expected to meet with Milei during the visit. In a video broadcast at the WHO's annual assembly last week, he urged other governments to withdraw from the agency and create other institutions. In his speech, Kennedy alleged that the UN Health Agency was under undue influence from China, gender ideology, and the pharmaceutical industry. You think? The Argentinian government also announced a structural review of national health agencies to organise, update and make transparent the structures and processes of the health system that for years operated with overlaps, outdated regulations and limited oversight. Okay, so if they're able to do it there in Argentina, why on earth can't we do it here in Australia as well? Of course we can, but we need the people to get together and put those ideas to our members of parliament and force them to follow suit. But the key is that the truth is now slowly but surely coming out. Okay, so these companies are going to just lose more and more money as more and more people withdraw, or more and more countries in particular, withdraw from these systems. So they are starting to feel the pinch, so much so that was actually an investment industry article that came out and actually detailed just some of the real world issues that these drug companies are now facing. Now, this is a longer article, but it does have some really key points. So I urge you all, bear with me and go and look this up for yourselves so you know the troubles that they're facing. So the title of this is Risk Alert. mRNA vaccine manufacturers face growing liability threats over safety data. The rapid rise of mRNA vaccines like Pfizer-BioNTech's Comirnaty and Moderna's Spikevax has been one of the most transformative medical achievements of the 21st century. Yet, beneath the headlines of efficacy lurks a growing risk that could undermine these companies' long-term financial stability. Excellent. The mounting evidence of serious adverse events of special interest, AESIs, and the potential liabilities they portend. As new clinical trial and post-authorization data reveal alarming trends in excess AESI events, investors must confront stark reality. The hidden costs of mRNA vaccine production could soon eclipse their perceived value. Then it has the subheading, the clinical trial data, a red flag for long-term liability. Recent analysis of phase 3 trial data reveal that mRNA vaccines carry a statistically significant excess risk of serious AESIs compared to placebos. Pfizer's trials showed a 36% higher risk of serious AESIs in vaccinated individuals versus placebo, with a risk difference of 18 per 10,000. Moderna's trial found a 6% higher risk, though with wider confidence intervals indicating uncertainty. Crucially, these risks are not theoretically. Post-marketing surveillance of over 772 million doses administered globally has confirmed heightened rates of myocarditis and pericarditis. Remember when I used to speak about that every single video that I did for like year after year back during the pandemic? Particularly in males aged 12 to 40. Now the truth is coming out. The legal and regulatory storm brewing. The data paints a clear path to liability exposure. Number one, litigation risks. Class action lawsuits are already emerging, alleging inadequate disclosure of risks like myocarditis. Number two, regulatory scrutiny. The FDA's post-authorization safety surveillance has flagged myocarditis and anaphylaxis as red flag events, potentially leading to labelling changes, restricted use, or even perhaps recalls. Number three, harm-benefit calculus. While mRNA vaccines reduce hospitalizations, the excess AESI rate of 12.5 per 10,000 must be weighed against prevented outcomes. Okay, then it goes on, declining public trust, the silent killer of demand. Trust in mRNA vaccines is eroding faster than most investors realise. Surveys show that 30% of Americans now question the safety of mRNA vaccines, with myocarditis reports disproportionately affecting younger demographics, a key market segment. Meanwhile, the rise of alternative treatments, e.g. oral antivirals, and waning pandemic urgency has reduced the urgency for booster doses. The consequences are already visible. Moderna's Q1 2025 sales fell 68% year on year. Pfizer's vaccine revenue dropped 37% year on year. Why this matters for investors? The risks are not abstract. Consider the precedent of Johnson & Johnson's Janssen vaccine withdrawn from the US market in May 2023 due to unmanageable risks of blood clots and GBS. While mRNA vaccines have a better safety profile, the principle holds. Vaccines with elevated AESI rates face existential threats to their commercial viability. Investors in Pfizer and Moderna face three critical risks. One, erosion of profit margins. Legal settlements and regulatory fines could swallow billions in profits. Two, declining sales. As trust wanes, governments and insurers may limit use to high-risk groups only. And three, opportunity cost. Capital tied to mRNA stocks could be better deployed in safer growing sectors like AI-driven diagnostics or gene therapies. Call to action. Reassess exposure now. The writing is on the wall. mRNA vaccine manufacturers are entering a new phase of scrutiny where their financial health hinges on managing AESI liabilities. The era of mRNA vaccine windfalls is ending. Praise the Lord. The next chapter will be defined by lawsuits, regulatory pushbacks, and a public demanding accountability. For investors, the time to act is now, before the risks materialise into irreversible losses. Final note, the mRNA revolution was a triumph, but its legacy may be written in courtrooms and boardrooms, not just in labs. So there you have it, an investor industry report clearly outlining the truth about these adverse reactions and why investors should be very, very cautious, okay, about putting any more money into these drug companies. So things are going from bad to worse for these companies, and as I've said many times before, all they are interested in is just purely profits. But here's the thing, as those profits disappear and as investors go elsewhere, what options do they have? Well, let's have a look at the options that they're exercising right here in Australia, where A, Moderna has just invested $1 billion in building a wonderful, brand new, shiny mRNA factory, and B, where the drug companies have significant influence, if not control, over the media. So the first thing that they do is they start to replicate what worked for them during COVID. So they start using that good old guilt treatment, okay? And they convince the media to write articles like this rubbish, okay? Have a look at this. Health experts furious as Aussies avoid getting the COVID-19 vaccine. We have dropped the ball. Why would health experts be furious? I mean, really, what's it got to do with them? Australians have been warned that falling COVID vaccinations could pose a risk as a new highly contagious strain of the virus emerges. The variant known as NB 1.8.1, now that was very close to the 1.0.8 that they were talking about in the last article. Coincidental? Who knows? First recorded on January 21. Is responsible for a sharp rise in cases in China, Hong Kong and Taiwan, and is now the dominant strain in WA, responsible for a 24% jump in case numbers. Professor Paul Griffin from Mater Hospital in Brisbane said the COVID vaccination rate is the lowest it's been since the jabs were introduced 5 years ago. Well, yeah, because we had this, bump and pandemic and whatever else, and now it's gone. So, yeah, makes sense. We've dropped the ball with COVID-19 vaccinations, but this disease is still very prevalent in the community and poses a serious threat to high-risk patients, said Professor Griffin, Director of Infectious Diseases at the hospital. For those high-risk people, it should now be a once-a-year booster, like the flu vaccine is. And with winter here just next week, now is the time to get vaccinated. And it's safe to get them both together. How the hell can they say that? Given everything that's just come out over the past few years, how can they print that rubbish that it's safe to get them at all, let alone together? I mean, come on. There are hundreds of different strains of Omicron, and the new subvariant NB 1.8.1 is driving up infections and hospitalisations, particularly in Asia and Western Australia. The best way to protect yourself and your family is to get the newest booster, which provides very good coverage. But they said, remember last week, that they still don't know, because it's all brand new, this new strain. Is safe. Again, how the hell do they know, given what's coming out at the moment? And will reduce the severity of your symptoms, which they've already admitted aren't really that severe anyway. Fewer than 250,000 Queenslanders have received a yearly booster despite it being free. I mean, crazy people. I mean, it's free. Why wouldn't you get it? I mean, come on. Professor Griffin said that there's also been a sharp rise in flu cases in Queensland, with more than 2,000 people already hospitalised this year. How many people get hospitalised every year with the flu? Okay, it happens all the time. This is not something new. This is not something to be worried or concerned about. This is a 30% increase on the same period last year and could pose a threat of overloading the hospital system if COVID cases also spiked. But there's no reason to believe that's actually going to happen, so why mention it? He said cases of respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, were also high, with 1,500 people hospitalised, making it a triple threat. Ooh, definitely sounds very, very scary. Okay, I certainly hope that all of you naughty Aussies out there that haven't rolled up your sleeves and gotten your 16th jab yet feel very bad and extremely guilty about how you're putting all of the rest of society at risk. You rush out and get jabs straight away. Not. Now, please keep in mind, very important, if you are a healthy pregnant woman or a healthy child, you have to rush out too, because it's only healthy pregnant people and only healthy children in the US that don't need to get jabbed. Here in Australia, it's very, very different. This COVID stuff affects us a lot more here in Australia than it does in the US, apparently, according to the media. Now, if you have any doubt about how different and how serious it is here in Australia, please pay attention to the next pharmaceutical-sponsored mainstream media article that I'm going to read out, but I'm going to warn you, it's going to take a little bit of going through. So, bear with me. It is long, and we are going to struggle at points, but I think we'll get there in the end. Okay, here it is. Title: COVID-19 variant NB 1.8.1. Everything you need to know about the new dominant strain and how our vaccines will hold up. It could be the first time in a year that we could see COVID really starting to impact people. Hang on a minute. I've been talking about this for the last however many years. It's never stopped. Now they're saying it's the first time in a year that we could see COVID really starting to impact people. Well, what was it doing for the last 2 years that they kept telling everyone to get boosters and jabs? Oh, I'm confused. I thought COVID was real and it was impacting people all the time, and that's why we had to get boosters. And now they're telling this is the first time in a year that it's actually going to affect people. Oh, I don't know what to do. Maybe the article will help me out. Okay, let's go. A new COVID-19 variant is drawing global attention due to its rapid spread worldwide. The variant NB 1.8.1 is set to become the dominant strain in Australia. However, because it is mutated from known variants, the nation's vaccines are still expected to offer decent protection. What the hell is that? They're expected to offer decent protection. Well, I expect to win Tesla every week when I get a ticket. It doesn't happen, though, does it? Okay? I mean, what is expected to offer decent protection? What's decent protection? Either it protects you or it doesn't. It's like being half pregnant. I'm a little bit pregnant. You know, I mean, come on. NB 1.8.1 is already the dominant strain in Western Australia, as we've heard umpteen times already, according to wastewater surveillance reports. So it's not actually people turning up, dying in hospitals. No, that's not how they figured it out. They've put some sticks in some wastewater and figured it out from that. Okay. It's taking off pretty quickly. Deakin University professor and epidemiology chair Catherine Bennett told 7news.com.au. It's related to variants that we've seen. It looks like, so she doesn't know, it looks like, according to her, two of them have kind of combined. I mean, this is the Deakin University professor and epidemiology chair telling us that it looks like two of them have kind of combined. I mean, doesn't give me a lot of faith in what this woman has to say. But it has some new mutations as well. Oh no, now I'm worried. These mutations have two key effects. First, the variant appears different enough from previous strains that our immune systems don't immediately recognise it. I bump into people in the street that I don't immediately recognise either, but eventually we have a chat, I figure out who they are, it's not really a big deal. This means it can evade the immune defences developed through earlier infections or vaccinations. So now she's telling you that this new strain can evade the vaccinations. So why would we risk getting them again? I mean, they can't lie straight in bed, these people. Second, hang on, we're only on the first bit. Second, the mutations improve the variant's ability to bind to receptors in the mucosal linings of the human body. Ooh, sounds a bit yuckaba. It just means if you're exposed, you're more likely to catch it, Bennett said. People just need to be aware of infection where they can and avoid spreading it where they can. If they've got symptoms, no matter what it is, it's not the time to socialise. Oh God, now I'm even more confused. They told us through the whole COVID pandemic when they locked us down and the ring of steel and the curfew that you didn't have to have any symptoms, you could still infect someone and just stay home no matter what. Now she's only saying if you've got symptoms, then don't socialise. I mean, how bad is this strain? Really? I mean, nothing adds up. NB 1.8.1 is the descendant from Omicron JN.1, the same strain targeted by current vaccines. It was wise that they invested in vaccines that were trialling along that JN1 family, Bennett said. While the vaccine is not perfectly matched to this subvariant, there is enough relationship between the JN1 strain that is in the vaccine that allows us to still have an effective vaccine. But she just told us 3 paragraphs ago that the variant appears different enough that it can avoid vaccinations. This means it can evade the immune defences developed through earlier infections or vaccinations. So which is it? It can evade vaccinations or we need the vaccinations? I mean, come on, people. Ah, yes, and here we go. The big sell. Perfect storm for a spike in cases. This winter marks Australia's 5th with COVID-19. But we've only been told right at the start of the article it's only the first year that it's actually really affecting people. So what happened the other 4 years? I mean, come on. Though the worst impacts occurred in 2022, 23 and 24. Hang on, I thought the worst were in 2020 and 2021 when we're all locked down. What am I missing? In recent months, Australians have relaxed their attitudes towards the virus, buoyed by a seasonal reprieve from high infection rates, a reprieve that has also lowered overall immunity. That complacency is one of several factors creating a perfect storm for a surge in cases. Winter, waning immunity, immune evasion by the new variant, and its high transmissibility. All those things lining up together suggest, mind you, don't dictate, they suggest, that we might be in for a bigger winter wave, possibly even than we saw last year. Wow. But as they just said, it's the first time in a year that it's actually an issue and actually affecting people. I mean, it could be the first time in a year that we see COVID really starting to impact people, she said. She said it again, twice. Bennett noted that right now is the first time that people in ICU with COVID-19 has dropped to the level that it has. So this is such a big deal, such a huge issue, that the number of people in ICU have actually dropped. I'm just not understanding. The ICU rates are the lowest since 2021, but they're expected to rise again this winter. At the height of the pandemic in Australia, deaths from COVID-19 were 10 times higher than those from the flu. That's dropped, but it's still 5 times higher from the flu, so COVID-19 is still to be taken seriously. You know what's not to be taken seriously? Is this rubbish. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't read that crap anymore. It just does my head in. I mean, honestly, please, if you haven't connected the dots between the first few articles that I read out and those last few and realised that this has absolutely nothing to do with your health and has everything to do with the drug companies making money, then I'm sorry, honestly, I can't help you. Best to just switch this off now and go away. Okay, but look, for those of you who are still with me, while we're on the subject of money, I showed everybody a meme on the last video I did last week, just asking a few simple questions about the price of electricity, given all of the energy saving initiatives. So that was the meme that I held up and said, well, we've got all these wonderful energy saving initiatives that we've been forced to comply with, so why isn't the price of electricity going down? Well, unfortunately, it seems as though the wrong people were watching last week's video, and now just this week, 1 week later, there's an article that's come out detailing yet another 10% increase in the cost of electricity. So unfortunately, that is the bad news, but again, best to give everybody a warning and a heads up so that they can prepare. A regulator signs off on 10% jump in electricity bill as costs rise. Electricity costs rose faster than anticipated in some parts of the country over the past 2 months as the National Energy Regulator confirmed some households would face power bill increases of almost 10%. The Australian Energy Regulator, AER, which sets safety net prices known as default market offer as part of its annual review, blamed the rises on increase to the cost of producing energy, which varies based on how it's generated in different parts of the country. Of course, how is energy generated now? Through all of these green measures and wind farms that they're now closing down and all the rest of the rubbish. And we wonder why costs have gone up. Hello, it's not rocket science, people. Australia's energy system is in the middle of a major transition as ageing coal-fired power stations come to the end of their life and are largely replaced with renewable energy sources such as wind and solar farms, like the one that I said, the first one's closing down because it's too expensive to replace all the blades and all the rest of it, alongside big new investments in poles and wire infrastructure. The Australian Energy Market Operator separately announced it had increased its cost estimates for poles and wire projects by up to 55% since 2024, when it last outlined as Integrated System Plan the most detailed outline of Australia's future electricity grid. AER Chairwoman Claire Savage said there's been cost pressures on almost all components of the electricity supply chain, with network costs rising between 1% and 11% and retail costs going up between 8% and 35%. Yet what were we told about all of this renewable energy? It was all going to bring the costs down. And what, of course, has transpired in reality? It just continues to go up. We know this is not welcome news for consumers in the current cost of living environment, she said. You think? Well, there's the understatement of the year. Thanks very much. Sally Tyndall, the comparison platform CanStar, said the average power bill would rise by around $228. These electricity price hikes will knock the wind out of the sails for many families just when they thought they'd turned a corner in the cost of living crisis. So, this is, gee, Albo and his merry bunch of Muppets are, just doing such a great job since they got voted back in, aren't they? I mean, did honestly anyone think anything was going to change? I mean, they've been voted back in, so there's no need to do anything. They've, just managed to pass their tax on unrealised gains, which of course the career politicians are exempt from, and they're just raking in more and more money each year. Now, speaking of raking in more and more money each year, which of course the banks do a tremendous job of, I hope no one was needing to transfer any money out of the CBA last week when their systems went down once again. We keep talking about these outages, data breaches, hacks, and here's another major one. CommBank app services return to normal after transfer and payment error. An error affecting Commonwealth Bank and NetBank users has been resolved after several hours. Earlier today, customers were alerted to an issue affecting transfers between accounts and payments. You may be unable to make transfers between your accounts or pay someone using PayID or BSB, an account number in NetBank and the CommBank app, the bank said. When attempting to transfer, customers saw a pop-up that read, "Something's gone wrong, try again a little later." The bank has since resolved the problem and CommBank app and NetBank services have been restored. We're sorry for the inconvenience and thank you for your patience, blah, 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 all the usual rubbish. But again, as I keep saying to people, these things keep happening with monotonous regularity and they're just going to keep happening again and again and again, more and more and more as we move more towards a digital age. And this again is an important reminder of why cash is so important. All right, now the final point that I want to make about money, and that is the fact that it is actually a long weekend in most states this weekend, except I think Queensland and WA. It's the King's birthday weekend, and that of course means that the revenue-raising goons are going to be out in force. It also means that it's double demerit points in some states as well, so please do be aware of that. As always, I do urge you to please make sure you grab a copy of that truly license-saving Aussie Speeding Fines book. As always, you'll find a link in the description. Should be a link going up in the comments as well. And of course, the best time to have that book is before you get a fine. So please place an order tonight as soon as this video ends, and it will be sent straight out for you via express post. Now, I'm going to be going through actually a couple of brand new testimonials from people who've successfully challenged even more of their fines in just a few moments. But just very quickly before I get to that, we obviously ran our fully sold out fines webinar last Sunday, and we received overwhelmingly positive feedback to that. So please, if you have been at all sitting on the fence, undecided about any of our future webinars, I urge you to take action quickly, because as of the time of writing these notes, there were just 4 seats left. 4 seats left to our upcoming webinar on rates, local government, and land titles. Now, here's the thing. That webinar is still a month away and there's just 4 seats left. So I've spoken to the boys. What we've done is we have managed to juggle some things around, okay? And we have managed to increase the number of attendees from 100 to 150, but that is it. We have to cap it at 150 because that gives everybody an opportunity to have their questions asked and answered. We have upped the number of VIP attendees slightly as well. But again, once those tickets are gone, they are gone. So please go to our seminar page. You'll find a webinar tab, and then you'll find a separate tab for the rates webinar. Jump on that right now as the video ends and do secure your seat. Of course, have a look through the webinar links to see the other webinars that we're running this year as well. And there is a discount if you want to book to all 4 remaining webinars. Again, I can tell you right now that given what's happened to the last 2, those ones will almost certainly sell out as well. Don't forget, we also have our other live events. We have our Gold Coast live events, 4th, 5th, and 6th of July. Also now only 1 month away. Again, you'll find a link in the comments. Otherwise, just jump on our seminar page and secure your seats for those. They are the last standard 2.5-day live events that we will be running for the foreseeable future. And again, of course, that Friday night event is completely free. So again, that will almost certainly sell out. So again, don't leave it to the last minute. Jump on there now. And if you don't have the money to pay for everything now, there is an option. We can pay just $100, secure your seat for the whole weekend, and you can just pay at the event. All right, so finally, As I mentioned just before, as we always do, we finish off with the memes. But before I get to those, I'm going to read through the latest testimonials from some of our members. So this is from Dana, and she wrote some emails back and forth to the guys regarding a seatbelt fine. They just went, simplest things, just to get a letter from your doctor saying you're experiencing arm, shoulder, chest pain, something like that. Submit it, will be withdrawn. She's gone, hello, thank you for the suggestion. It was successful and waived today. Have a great week. So there it is, proof that you absolutely can challenge those seatbelt fines and all others as well. This one's from Elena, who writes, hi, so today I got a letter from Vic Road stating that on the directions of Fines Victoria, the suspension has been lifted and I have my full licence back with no restrictions. It was a bit of a shock. I didn't do anything after the last time I wrote to you, and as far as I knew, until I paid the fines, my licence was suspended. It was 6 months to the day, and I'd never been convicted of anything, so I'm guessing that's all they can hold it for, so no mention of fines, so I guess they're gone too. Thanks for all your help in the past. Cheers, Elena. So again, when you stand your ground, you absolutely can get these fines withdrawn, dismissed, whatever it is. The minute, of course, you pay, that's it, it's finished, there's nothing else you can do. And then the final one is from Kent, who writes here, good morning, I tried your process with a fine I got for touching my phone while driving. They sent the attached letter, so they let me off a $1,200 fine. I was shocked when I got it that it was so easy. Cheers, Kent. And again, here is the actual letter. People go, oh, you guys make this stuff up. It's not real. Well, here it is in black and white, the actual letter from the Queensland Transport and Main Roads. Dear Mr. Blah, 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 the Department of Transport Main Roads Prosecutions Unit has received your court election for infringement notice. Blah, blah, blah. The matter has been considered and the decision has been made to waive the infringement notice. You are not required to take any further action and the matter is considered finalised. You may wish to keep a copy of this letter for your records. And there it is, signed off by the prosecution's officer. Okay, so I'm telling you, 100%, the information, the steps, the strategies in this book do work if you follow all the steps. If you follow the steps, you follow the time frames, okay, that are detailed there in chapter 3 in that 3-step process, you can be successful too. So please grab that book now if you don't already have it and make sure you challenge all unjust and unlawful fines. All right, so just to finish off quickly with some memes. We've been hearing all of the stories of COVID and how it's such a big thing and the experts are warning. Well, there's a photo of the experts that are sounding the alarm about COVID-19. I'll just leave that one alone. Yes. Again, I put up a similar meme last week with the tombstones saying, oh, you know, it would have been worse if I wasn't vaccinated. And again, this one's on the same vein. So fully vaccinated man dies COVID-19, but pseudoscience says it could have been a lot worse if he wasn't vaccinated. So, I mean, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. Yes. Now, unfortunately, the picture's not that clear, but I think you can get the general gist of it there. And the caption reads, me watching you tell me taxation is necessary, knowing you've been brainwashed by the education system created by the parasites who live off your taxes. And that's exactly the circle that keeps going round and round. Yes, and we've spoken a few times about the good old fact checkers. And this came across my desk the other day and I thought, yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. So it says, wait a minute, you're telling me they have fact checkers? People who actually know the facts? Here's an idea. Why don't they set up a show on television and just give us the facts? Maybe they could call it the news. Wow, sadly, that's not going to happen. But look, it's a lovely idea. Anyway, we can keep dreaming, can't we? All right, so look, I'm going to leave things there for tonight. I know it was a slightly longer video, but as you can see, lots of really, really important information. And as always, I do urge you to use all of the various resources to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. These videos, of course, are completely free to watch on our BitChute channel and our YouTube channel. Also on the videos tab on our Facebook page. But again, Facebook are now deleting all videos after 30 days. So it is best if you subscribe to the BitChute or YouTube channels so you can get notified of all new videos as they are uploaded. Of course, there's plenty of completely free information on our website. Our radio show is completely free to listen to every Tuesday night. When we don't have a live show, we will replay a previous show, so there's no live show next next week, but we will be replaying our show. Don't forget, this week we spoke live to Jackson Moon, who's the absolute legend that set up that petition to stop the Daniel Andrews statue going ahead. So please make sure you listen to that podcast, and please make sure you add your signature to that petition. He's very, very close to the numbers that he needs to get that into Parliament. It's an official parliamentary petition, so it does have legs and it will have effect if we get those numbers. So add your signature to that. If you have missed any of our past radio shows, you want to access the podcast, it literally costs less than $5 a week. So it's something that's affordable to absolutely everybody. And if you want to go above and beyond what we cover in these videos and in those podcasts, please grab a copy of our Know Your Rights book, the essential step-by-step manual for understanding and exercising your rights. That Aussie Speeding Fines book, as I said before, for challenging all unjust and unlawful fines. And the Bank Secrets book, because we know a lot of people are genuinely struggling financially, so stop throwing good money after bad at those unsecured loans, at your credit cards, personal loans, things like that. They can be easily written off with just a few letters. Again, you'll find these links to these. You can get them separately. You can get them all part of the combo pack. You'll find all that in the description. The combo pack does include the tote bag as a little bonus, no extra charge. Of course, our webinar, don't forget, once those new seats are gone, they are gone for the fines, for the rates, local government and land titles webinar. We have some other really great webinars queued up for this year as well. Please consider the Gold Coast events. If you can't get there, then do grab a copy of the home study course. It is a complete recording of one of those 2.5-day events. There's 3 custom-made workbooks, sections to write notes next to every single slide from every single presentation. There's 17 DVDs that you can pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home at your own pace. So it's a great resource that you'll come back to again and again over the years. So I'm going to leave things there. Oh, don't forget our beanies. It is getting cold, very, very cold. You need your beanies. Grab your beanies now. Keep your head warm. There's a big polar blast coming through the eastern states, so grab those. People see the logo. They come up, they have a chat. Great way to meet like-minded people. So keep that in mind. Stay warm, stay dry, enjoy the long weekend, and we'll speak to you all next Thursday night.